Hello Miners, welcome back. We're diving into the depths of madness today. That is right, we are playing Legacy Madness. So for those of you who haven't been around the channel and have seen me play this or don't know what this deck is, it's based around the madness mechanic, which is where when you discard a card, instead of going to the graveyard if it has madness, it goes to exile, and you have the option to cast it for its madness cost from exile. If you don't, then it goes to the graveyard. So what are we doing with this deck? We are trying to power out as many quick, fast creatures as we can, using the madness cost to get them onto the battlefield for free or for reduced cost than what it would be if we were casting them from our hand. So for that, for our madness creatures, we've got Blazing Root Walla, Basking Root Walla, and Anji's Ravager. The Root Wallas are free. That's right, you don't have to pay anything to cast them if you get them into madness. Anji's Ravager, you get a 1-mana discount. So you do get to get it onto the battlefield a little bit quicker. So what are we doing with these free creatures or these creatures that have a reduced mana cost? We're using them to cheat out even bigger creatures. So for that, we've got Hollow One, Pox Walkers, and Vengevine. Vengevine is a classic. It's a 4-mana, 4/3 haste. When you cast a second creature per turn, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pox Walkers is kind of similar. It's kind of acting as additional copies of Vengevine, but just not as good. And instead of having to cast 2 creatures, is whenever you cast a creature or a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And the thing with Madness is you're casting things from exile. You're not casting them from your hand, so that's going to trigger it. Hollow One, 5-mana, 4/4. For every card you discard, it reduces its mana cost by 2. So if you discard 3 cards in a turn, it's free. Well, you're wanting to discard your cards so that you can cast them for free, which is going to decrease the cost of Hollow One. So being able to cast a free Hollow One is super, super easy in this deck. So to be able to fuel all of this, we've got a ton of ways to discard cards to churn through our deck. We've got Lion's Eye Diamond, Putrident, Burning Inquiry, Faithless Looting, and Street Wraith that all involve discarding cards in the process of drawing more to be able to get our free or our discounted madness cards to be able to be cast from exile, to get back our Vengevines, our Pox Walkers, decrease the cost on our Hollow Ones, and basically just shit as much stuff onto the battlefield as quickly as possible to just overrun the opponent. It is a very land-light deck. It is also all fetch lands or lands that have the mountain type, because we want mountains due to anger, which is our way to kind of cheese out our opponents. Because if anger is in the graveyard and you have a mountain, all of your creatures get haste. So now not only are you shitting all of these creatures onto the battlefield super fast, basically for free, you're now giving them all haste so that you can swing in with massive amounts of damage on turn 1 and overwhelm your opponent before they have a chance to set up or do anything. So the whole point is just go hyper aggro, get a ton of stuff on the battlefield, kill your opponent as quickly as possible. In the sideboard, we've got a bunch of stuff that kind of just tries to stop your opponent from stopping what you're doing. So you've got Ancient Grudge, Lava Dart, and Firestorm as your quote-unquote removal things. Ancient Grudge hits all of your artifact hate cards such as Grafdigger's Cage, Trinisphere, stuff like that. Firestorm and Lava Dart go after creatures, so you can hit stuff like Containment Priest or Doorkeeper Thrall or stuff like that that can kind of screw with what you're trying to do. Ancient Grudge and Lava Dart also have flashbacks, so they're able to trigger your Pox Walkers, and Firestorm acts as a discard outlet, so in addition to killing whatever you're trying to kill, you get to discard a bunch of cards for madness or for value. The other fun thing about Firestorm is it gives you a little bit of reach as well, so does Lava Dart. So like if you get your opponent down really low and you just need a few extra points of damage, but they've stalled the board out on you, it is a way to be able to finish the game out. You've got 2 Wastelands specifically for going up against stuff like lands where Tabernacle is going to ruin your day. You are a super land-light deck. Chances are, when you're in a good position, you've got 5 to 6 creatures on the battlefield and only 1 or 2 lands, a Tabernacle is going to absolutely destroy you. So you want to be able to have a Wasteland to take care of the Tabernacle, to keep your creatures on the battlefield. This is also kind of why Anger's in the deck as well, so you can get your damage in with your creatures before you have to worry about paying for the Tabernacle cost. So that's specifically what those are for. And then you've got your Graveyard Hate, because Rescaminator is fucking everywhere. LED wheel decks are everywhere, so it kind of just shuts down those hyper wheel style decks that are trying to mulligan to abuse the graveyard. Coffin Purge also kind of acts as a pseudo-surgical extraction. It doesn't take every copy out of the deck, but it lets you snipe something out of a graveyard in response to a reanimate or an animate dead. It also has flashback as well, so you actually get 2 uses out of it instead of just 1. And because of the fact that it's flashback, it can trigger your Pox Walkers to be able to get those back from the graveyard as well when you cast it for the flashback. So let's take this through a league, see if we can jank some opponents out, have some fun, just go hyper aggro, hyper fast, pedal to the metal as quickly as we can go. See if Pox Walkers is enough to be able to bring this deck back from the fringes and actually be a player in the metagame, or we're just going to see if we're going to have some fun and see if we can catch our opponents off guard. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Alright, losing my mind today, won the die roll, let's go. I mean, I like this. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Like, this lets us do a ton of disgusting stuff all at once is the funny part. Yeah, this is going to be interesting here. So, basically, what we're going to do here, assuming our opponent doesn't just force of will everything we do, we are going to run out this Lion's Eye Diamond. We are going to cast a Burning Inquiry, holding priority. With a Burning Inquiry on the stack, we are going to activate Lion's Eye Diamond so that we Madness away our Ravager and our Blazing Root Walla, dump Pox Walker and Vengevine in the graveyard. We have the mana to be able to cast Vengevine, or cast both of our cards. So we will cast the Ravager, which will trigger Pox Walkers to come back. We still have 1 mana left over. Our Ravager will resolve. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. No. Okay, so they cared about the Ravager. That's fine. We're going to get our Vengevine back, though. They checked a Dress Down, so we're up against some kind of control deck. Get Vengevine back. Root Walla enters the battlefield, and now we screw up their hand. Do our own shit. Get another Root Walla out of the scenario. I would just casually put 8 raw power onto the battlefield. Just a casual... Okay, so this is Jeskai control. But next turn, we're swinging in for theoretically 3, 6, 10, 11 damage. Okay, Ponder's fine. If we hit a land, a red land specifically, no, we get another Vengevine. That's fine. They chose to shuffle their library, so I mean, this is a lot of damage coming in super fast. So we're gonna do this, pump this, hit you for a casual 11, drop you to 4. They have to deal with a minimum of 2 of these creatures. And they can't do it? Alright, cool. Already off to a strong start against Jeskai control, I like it. Against Jeskai, though... I mean, they're going to have a lot of white-based removal, which is going to be really, really bad for us here. Trying to think what we even want to bring in here. The sideboard was not made for Jeskai control. Like, I don't even know what they would be bringing in against us. A lot of white-based stuff. Probably going to bring in some more forces. Probably going to bring in... probably going to bring in stuff like Rest in Peace, I would guess. I don't think they're going to have a ton of artifacts, unless they're on, like, a Stoneblade version, but we saw 4th Aerolingus, so I don't think they're going to be. Firestorm could be interesting. I guess we can try bringing those in. Let's trim A Anger to trim some speed, A Pox Walkers, and A Once Upon a Time. Let's try something like that. Okay, I mean, this is another one that's a really fucking good hand if we can get this to work right. It's a little sad we might be losing this hollow one, but we're going to keep it and see where it goes. The nice part is a lot of their counters are kind of useless against us. So this could be like a Hydro Blast of some sort. We'll see if we can get a Force Ether hand with one of these Lion's Eye Diamonds. We really don't care because we have... Ooh, and a Putrid Imp. Okay, this definitely has potential now. But there's a lot of stuff we can do here. I guess we're going to see if they want to counter one of these Lion's Eye Diamonds. They might. Okay, so we got a Spell Pierce out of hand. I am A-okay with that. That clears the way for what we want to do. Play a land. I should be able to do everything on turn 1 here. Something got the area's attention. I guess I have a package. Alright. So this should allow us to play out our entire hand here, and then they're just going to have to figure out how to deal with stuff from here. It looks weird tossing a land, but there's a reason for that. There's a part of me that wants to run out this Ravager and just be like, deal with it, and we will deal with our hand. I think we're gonna go ahead and do that. This might be a bit aggressive, but the fact that stuff is just resolving, and they've only got 1 mana, in theory, unless they like randomly luck into a top deck Terminus, I think we're good. And this is going to refuel us for next turn too, unless they just have like the removal for the Anji's Ravager, but if they don't, even if they do, they're still facing down a hell of a clock here, so like I can't do anything anyways. I'll pass the turn. Alright, they had an answer for the Ravager. Let's see if they have an answer for everything else here. We have another Ravager. We're going to swing in. Alright, they're doing something here. If they've got another white-based... Yeah, it looks like they've got some kind of white-based removal here. Let's see if we can get them to go after the Rootwalla. Okay, no, if they didn't fall for the Rootwalla, they're going after the Hollow one. We did make them spend a ton of their resources, and we are 1 land away from being able to Ravager again. So I'm not super worried about where we are at the moment. But we are at the point now where, like, they probably have a lot of ways out of this. Are they just going to play a Narset? Okay. Like, we can kill a Narset. That's not really a problem. It does cost us our Anji's Ravager. Yeah, like, we just gotta swing in, kill Narset. We don't really have a choice there. Attack you, attack Narset. If they have a Solitude, this sucks. That did essentially buy them 3 life, and they got a Ponder out of it. Alright, there's their Ponder. Opponent is pondering their life choices here. Chooses not to shuffle. That's mildly concerning. Okay, so they just got a shitload of removal. I guess we're gonna see... Okay, that's fine. That doesn't stop the Madness creatures. All that does is stop Vengevines and Pox Walkers from coming back. Which, of course, we draw off Vengevine. Why wouldn't we? Lion's Eye Diamond, Putrid Imp. We're gonna chuck these, and we're just gonna, again, put them to the fucking test, I guess. Like... They've got 2 cards. It would have to be Force plus, whatchamacallit, a blue card. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this now so that I have a better chance of this resolving. Unfortunately, like I said, I have no way to get rid of this stuff, but I guess we know for the next game to bring in our artifact removal. We're going to put them to the test to see if they have another removal spell here. Chances are they do, but you never know. I'm trying to keep the pressure up. Like, that's what this deck does against control decks, is just keep the pressure up. They have to find a way out of this. Like I said, luckily Grafdigger's Gauge doesn't stop Madness because you're casting it from exile. Alright, so they didn't have a board wipe. That's good. I'm playing out the land. Wow, we're getting an attack in with the Ravager. I'm very surprised by that. Hull Breacher? No, the Wandering Emperor. Okay. So they can kill this, but I'm going to get cards out of it. So it basically fogs this attack, but I get to draw a bunch of cards out of it. And I can kill... Like, the part that sucks is the fact that I'm going to basically lose these, but I could kill the Wandering Emperor and then deal 2 to them, which is probably the best option here, since they're not going to be in a position to be able to counter this. Again, just keep the pressure up, keep the board clear. It's a 6-turn clock, which is not good, but it's something. An opponent obviously has cantrips. Like, they might be able to stabilize here, but we'll see. It just depends on how good these cantrips are for them. Alright, so they didn't get a fetch land, so they're theoretically brainstorm locked. I'm going to hold on to this just to make it seem like I might have something I can do here. Like, I don't want to play this out yet. I can't cast a Faithless Looting from my graveyard anyways. Okay, this might be over. We'll see, though. Like, there's still a world where I can get the lands and, like, hardcast Vengevines and shit. Like, this is the problem against the white-based deck, because they just have so much fucking removal. Chose to shuffle. They're still taking random draws. Alright, Narset's annoying. And they got another fucking Swords. I mean, well, no. Because that's just going to make me discard my hand now. Yeah, just play out the land and go. My best top decks at this point are just going to be like land into Vengevines and hope that they don't hit anything. But the chances of that are slim to none now. Okay, so they can hardcast. I'll give this one more draw. I think this is pretty well over. Even though like they don't have a clock, they can force whatever the next thing I do is. Plus, they can go ahead and Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, this might be an early concession, but this game is going to take another like 15 minutes for my opponent to finally kill me. So I'd rather just go to the next game. We're down on clock, and like in theory, I can just F6 from here until my opponent finds a way to kill me. But it's better, in my opinion, just to go ahead and move on to the next one. I think we're gonna bring those in. Burning Inquiries seem like a liability, so we'll just take out the Burning Inquiries here, since they're playing Narsets and shit. Try something like that. Alright, let's get a nutty hand one here. So, like, this is actually pretty good if we get some kind of payoff for these Root Wallas. And this does take care of a Grafdigger's Cage. I think we might keep this. It's a little wonky. We'll play that out. I think we're going to go ahead and play out the Lion's Eye Diamond, see if we can get a counter or, like, direct a Prismatic Ending at that. Like, the hope is kind of just that they're banking on, like, a turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage or something. Okay, they do have the turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage. I guess we're going to see if they've got, whatchamacallit. And that is a Vengevine, so I think I'm going to do this now. Yeah, we're going to try to go for this now. Hope they don't have a Force of Will. They don't. So the question, they don't have a Force of Will, so the chances of us actually being able to do something here are pretty decent, but I want to get this Stinkweed Imp down, because I'd rather go for that at this point. Because if I can stick the Stinkweed Imp, it is another thing on the battlefield. Now I don't give a shit if they take this Lion's Eye Diamond either. They bin it to Teferi, that's interesting. Because Teferi does shut down Madness entirely. Alright, with an Arid Mesa, let's try to get some shit done. I have a funny feeling this might be a Swords here, but we gotta put him to the test. I do need to bin the Ven... Okay, they're F6. Oh shit, my timing was wrong. Fuck. I'm an idiot. I fucked that up. I needed to pitch the fucking Vengevine first. I forgot the Vengevine saw the fucking Putrid Imp. Okay, that was a punt on my end. I might have just lost the game because of that, but we'll see. I totally fucked that up. Alright, we'll see if that's going to cost us. Miracling a Triumph of St. Catherine. Yeah, that probably kills us. Because I don't have a way to deal with that. Like, if I hadn't fucked up and I could go wider than this, maybe. Hollow one. That doesn't do anything at the moment. Unfortunately, we're about to take this. Like, I don't think that misplay actually mattered here now, because, I mean, we weren't beating this Triumph anyways. Like, we're going to let them get their hit in here. Like, we can crack back, and, like, we can do more damage than they are gaining life. But... Or they're just going Supreme Verdict. Yeah, we're just done here. We'll give it another draw step or two, but like that misplay didn't matter. They just had our number here. Like control decks are extremely hard for this deck in general, I found, because they just have so much white-based removal with all of our creatures being recursive. Yeah, and it's fair. Yeah, we're gonna scoop it up here. They had us. It is what it is. This is my experience with this deck against control decks. So oh well. On to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is actually super good. We're talking turn 1. We're going to do Badlands, Putrid Imp, Root Walla. We can cycle the street race to see what we hit Hollow one. And hope that our opponent doesn't have a way to kill our Putrid Imp before we get to do all this shit. Another Andes Ravager, okay. Okay, shit's resolving. Chuck. Hopefully our opponent is not also on some kind of crazy turn 1 combo deck. And then if we get one more land, we can get an Anges Ravager. Not a bad start. And I mean, we put 7 hard damage onto the battlefield, 9 if we pump Root Walla. And I mean, we're going to have 6 through the turn. Like, there's nothing we can do here. Dwarven Ruins. Okay, so it looks like it's probably the Mississippi River deck. So our bet is to hope that they just fizzle and don't have the turn two. Like, it's all that we can do at this point. It's just hope that they don't have it. Unfortunately, like, we just schwack in, hope they don't have the turbo version that we were playing, or if they do, it just fizzles. Yeah, it's the turbo version. And I mean, now we just hope that it fizzles. Because there's nothing we can do here. And what does Tybalt's Trickery hit? Call forth the Tempest. Okay. Well, we'll let the... Unfortunately, like, this deck literally has nothing it can do up against combo decks. Like, it's just let them do their thing. See what these Tybalt Trickeries hit. Another Call forth the Tempest. Throws of Chaos. Violent Outburst. Like, there always is the possibility that this shit just fizzles from here. It probably won't, but... Unfortunately, it's going to wipe our board out as well. Which means it's probably not going to do anything. Yep. They had a creative technique. Yes, let us cast our hollow one. We'll let our opponent do their thing for a game. It's fine. Like, they're not going to lose from here. Sure, I'll cast a Lion's Eye Diamond. Like, they're not going to fizzle from here. It's pretty much guaranteed. Yeah, with the Devastator, I'm just going to scoop it up. Yep. Unfortunately, like I said, there's literally nothing my deck can do against what they're trying to do here. Like, literally nothing. It's just hardcore race. See who can fuck shit up faster. Which, I mean, that's the downside of this deck. And they're able to mulligan for a turn, too, very aggressively. That being said, do I care about anything else here? Probably not. Like, we could try to wasteland them off of some lands and keep them a little bit slower. But other than that, I don't really think there's a realistic thing we can do here. Like, we can... The Pox Walkers are probably a little slow, as much as that sucks. Try that. Okay, let's see if we can race the opponent. I mean, again, this is a great turn one. But I don't think it's enough, but we're going to try it. Because I don't realistically see us getting any better than this. Like, it's basically do the exact same thing. And we just hope that our opponent mulligans into oblivion and never finds a way to go off. Okay, that's fine-ish. It just means Pox Walkers and that stuff is off. Hopefully, I mean, Graveyard Hate's weird. It does affect us to a certain extent, but not as much as you would think. Like, a lot of people board in Graveyard Hate thinking that it's like lights out versus this deck. And it's not, because most of our shit is being cast from exile. I mean, we're just going to do the same thing we did last time, like I said. I mean, and then let's get rid of the Taiga. Now I've got 2 mana, so if I draw something relevant, I can do things. Like, I guess this does shut down our Angers also. Hickory Woodlot, that's the double green one. I mean, this gives us an Anji's Ravager. Not that it's probably going to do anything, but it does. Like, we're just going to swing in. This gives us the most upside for next turn versus trying to pump a Rootwalla. Assuming we get a next turn, that is. It also very heavily telegraphs we're doing something here. Okay, they didn't have an untap land, so we have a shot. Alright. Play the Ravager. The hope is that we can find a wasteland to knock them off of one of their mana sources. Because I think that's realistically our only out at this point, is try to find a wasteland. Faithless Looting is interesting, because we can cast it, but then it doesn't... All it does is fuel Putrid Imp, because we're going to have to discard whatever we draw with it anyways. But we're also going to be discarding it to Ravager. Because it's going to be 3, 7, 10, 11, 12. I need 1 more damage. Oh, that's rough. Okay, well, we're going to go in. Yeah, we just got to swing in. And we'll see what Ravager gets us to see if we can somehow piece together another 2 points of damage. So this is interesting. We might be able to fuck up their hand. Like, there's no point in pumping, because they're going to be at 3. Unless they've got a fog effect? They got a Boseiju. Interesting. I mean, that does save them 4 points of damage. Okay, that's fine. I guess we're going to see if we can fuck up their hand. Because we're going to hit them. We're going to discard another Ravager so that we know it's on the battlefield. And then, whoops. And then we're going to Burning Inquiry, hope we screw up their hand. and that we possibly hit a wasteland. Nothing. We do get a basking root walla. Our opponent lost a bunch of land, so I don't think that's gonna do it. Alright, I mean, if you got it, you got it. Let's see. Hopefully they were going for a 6-drop Cascader, and that Ancient Tomb was, like, these were their untapped lands they were hoping to be able to go off with. Holy shit, we screwed up their hand. I can't believe we got that one out. Holy shit. Okay, so we know they're bringing in lots of graveyard hate. So there's a part of me that wants to bring in the Firestorms just so we have some direct damage to try to finish the game off with. Since they're bringing in graveyard hate and actively mulliganing for it, trim a little bit more here. The Pox Walkers are just going to be too slow. I want to keep one Anger and I want to keep the Vengevines just in case they don't hit the graveyard hate. Maybe we just take both of the Angers out. Keep the Vengevines just in case they don't find the graveyard hate. Try that. Okay, so this isn't bad. I like the Wasteland. Other than that, it's really slow, though. It's like a discard outlet away from being really good. I like that we have the Wasteland, though. Opponent looks like they're mulliganing, so I'm going to keep this. I think they're probably mulliganing pretty hard for Leyline, which I'm hoping is the case, because our hand doesn't care about Leyline whatsoever. At worst case scenario, we can like cycle this hollow one to try to find something relevant. So we'll see what we do here. Okay, they did not have a Leyline, but they mulliganed to 4 for a Mossfire Bridge. I'm guessing that means they probably have an Ancient Tomb. Oh, okay, so this changes things significantly. I mean, this is gonna feel really fucking bad, but this is what we're gonna fucking do. We are hoping this just annihilates our opponent's game plan entirely, and we refuel with Ravager. Hello? There we go. Wasn't letting me cast that for a second. It sucks that we're nuking our hand for this, but we're gonna have 2 creatures on board and a way to refuel our hand, and hope that our opponent doesn't have shit going on over there. Alright. We're hoping that was like their only colored mana source. Unfortunately, their deck is like 50% land. Luckily, these don't make mana on their own. Okay, well, Firestorm isn't doing anything. We're gonna get an attack, draw some cards. Land and a Burning Inquiry would be great. Well, we have a land and a Burning Inquiry, and we have another Wasteland. So we're just gonna do the same thing. Play the Wasteland. Take your Wasteland out. Pass a turn. We're kind of playing this weird control game now, and now we're about to make them like do random shit, which I think is going to greatly benefit us. Unfortunately, that is both of our Wastelands gone now. Alright, so let's see what we draw. We draw a land. We are going to go ahead and make this random now. Let's grab a Badlands, and we're going to Burning Inquiry. I'm hoping we don't give our opponent anything good. Alright, we got rid of multiple Soul Lands and a Creative Technique. And we hit a Root Walla that we're going to get to cast. Ooh, another Burning Inquiry for next turn. Hopefully we didn't spin our opponent into anything too crazy over there. We'll find out. Like, that's the problem with these Burning Inquiries, is it also gives your opponent random shit too. Alright, another tap land. Hopefully their hand is just a bunch of lands. The Mississippi River deck is like 50% lands. Okay. This is going to give us a way to pump this and still Burning Inquiry. Oh, we're going to Burning Inquiry, because there's a possibility we keep this hollow one. Nope, but we do get another Basking Root Walla. Cast a Root Walla. Play a Lion's Eye Diamond. Go grab a green source. We're going to pump our Root Walla this time. Actually, no, it doesn't change anything if we pump both of them, so we're only going to pump one. Like, it doesn't change the clock in any way, shape, or form, because this would be 9, put them to 3. Yeah. We'll see what we hit here. We hit a Faithless Looting and another Root Walla. That doesn't change anything at the moment. Basically, we just got a Fate a turn, is what's going on here. Alright, I played my land for turn already? Alright. We just got a Fate a turn. They got mana. Alright, now we need them to fizzle. Tiball's Trickery into Tiball's Trickery? Either that or they need to hit us into a firestorm, which still doesn't do it. Alright, Tybalt's Trickery. They got rid of one creative technique. Alright, call forth the Tempest. This is probably over now. We'll see. I don't think we have... Unless they get us into... Yeah, and even that doesn't work, I don't think. I was going to say, if they can get us into multiple... whatchamacallits? Did they act? I think they whiffed. Our board is gone, but I think they whiffed. However, there are... Well, no, because Thirst of Chaos won't get them there anymore either. Yeah, like, our board is gone, but they whiffed. Oh, shit, we're still in this. That was definitely not what I was expecting to happen by any means. Okay. I mean, we're still in this somehow. Let's go ahead and cast Faithless Loot and see what we can find here. So what? If I chuck 2, Hollow 1 casts... Well, no, because I got a third card I can chuck here, so I can actually chuck Root Walla and Root Walla and land. Cycle Street Wraith? Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do here. Chuck these, get the Root Walla back, cast with Madness, cycle the Street Wraith, another Faithless Looting. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Faithless Looting here. Putrid Imp Once Upon a Time. I think we're gonna hold on to the Putrid Imp, actually. Cast this. Get a Vengevine back. And yes, we took down Mississippi River! Ah, I can't believe we actually took this deck down. Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Woo! I like it. Okay, racking up those die rolls. Let's go. Oh, this is nutty as fuck. Hell yeah. If this Putrid Imp resolves, this hand is just insane. Alright, opponent kept on 6. Luckily, I can do... Ooh, and an Angie's Ravager? I like that. An LED would be insane. Oh, we'll just get 2 hollow ones. That's fine. Assuming this Imp survives, which it seems... I think our opponent's F6, from what I can tell. Yes. Alright, don't fuck this up like I did in that other match. This is just stupid amounts of power on turn 1. And I should be able to follow this up with that Angie's Ravager next turn. This is just a casual 13 on turn 1. Like, hopefully our opponent's not just on, like, a turn 1 combo deck of their own. It's very possible we just get turned 1 back with, like, Storm or something. Alright, our opponent didn't want to see it, so... Not sure what they're on. So I don't know if we're even going to sideboard, to be honest. There's something to be said about maybe preemptively bringing in the artifact hate, but I don't know. Not knowing what our opponent's on, problem is it's a completely dead card if they don't have artifact hate for what we're trying to do here. I think we're just going to run it back. We have no idea what they're on, so yeah, we'll run back. Okay, this is also a super nutty hand, so we're going to keep this, and I guess we'll find out what our opponent's doing here. Opponent began with 7. They don't have a ley line, so I guess we'll see what our opponent... Okay, they're on some kind of City of Traders deck. Oh, okay, they're on, like, this shit. And they've got a pretty crazy turn 1 as well. That is 4 mana on turn 1. What are they going to do here? Okay, so my Lion's Eye Diamond is dead, but I've got other things I can do here. So they're just on their own artifact combo deck, and they're going to play Tormod's Crypt. Okay, that's fine. I guess we're going to see what we can hit off of our cards here, and hope that this is all they were keeping that hand based on. Okay, this is good. It gives us something free to chuck off of the Root Walla, and a Putrid Imp. I like that a lot. I think we're going to go with the Well, I think we'll Faithless Looting first, actually. Let's grab the Badlands. Since we already chucked 1, this is going to give us more looks at stuff, so yeah, let's just do this first. And this will set us up for Putrid Imp next turn. This might force them to pop whatchamacallit now and just get it out of the way. Yeah, we're going to do this. This is probably going to force them to pop the Tormod's Crypt now and just get it out of the way. Which, if that's the case, that's fine. I don't really care about what's in our graveyard right now anyways. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yep. And then I think we're going to hold on to the Street Wraith for now, in case we draw another hollow one. That I should have brought in my artifact hate apparently. But I mean, we'll see what they do here. If they can get their engine online on turn 2, then they just turn 2'd us and it happens. Alright, they're just playing out a bunch of Grim Monoliths. Are they just going to go ahead and grab an Ensnaring Bridge to hide behind then? Like, the smart thing is to go grab an Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, they do. So they're going to try to hide behind an Ensnaring Bridge. Luckily, we can typically get Root Walla under them. Okay, no, we can't. Yeah, there's nothing in our main deck that can get through an Ensnaring Bridge, so we're just going to have to move to the next one. I mean, it's good to know what we're up against now. So we bring in all of the artifact hate. We bring in the firestorms. Like, it's good to know what we're up against. And being on the play will definitely help as well. Bring in the firestorms. Bring in the ancient grudges. Again, I think the Pox Walkers are going to be too slow. I like anger, so I kind of want to keep both of those in. I feel bad getting rid of the Burning Inquiries because they can screw up our opponent's hand, but at this point I feel like they're a liability more than anything. Maybe trim a Burning Inquiry, a Once Upon a Time. Maybe I don't need multiple Firestorms. Let's just do one. Yeah, let's try something like that. Alright, let's get another nutty turn 1 here. I mean, this isn't a bad turn 1. We're going to keep this. Like, this is relying a lot on this Anji's Ravager, but it's going to refuel our hand super quick, so let's go get a lot of dead draws out of our deck, like, because we don't really need that much in terms of lands. So this should help out with thinning our deck, getting a Ravager in to start churning through our deck as quickly as possible. Alright, we're going to play Mire, Lion's Eye Diamond, crack LED. If they have Surgicals, that's a little annoying. Because that will take the haste away if they happen to have Surgical. Oh, they have Fairy Macabre. Okay, that's not what I was expecting at all. Just means we gotta wait a turn until we can go off. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have anything too crazy. So the hope is that the opponent doesn't have a crazy turn 1 to follow that up. Adventurous Fair isn't bad. Manifold Key is annoying, but we have ways to kill it. Alright, I like Putrid Imp. We're gonna cast it. Grab a Badlands. This is just going to be a straight draw 3 now. Hopefully we get some good shit. Whoops. Yep, got attack. I thought it was making it attack. Okay, this is an interesting hand. This might be able to get this Vengevine back. Yep, it gets Vengevine back. Unfortunately, this wasn't pre-combat. We're just kind of hoping this is enough to do some shit. Because we're also going to be able to get this Anji's Ravager back next turn. Hopefully they just have a slow hand after this. Oh, City of Traders hand is actually slow. Assault Monolith. What are your last 2 cards? Paradox Engine. Alright, so depending on whatever their next card is, they can tutor up an artifact for 4 mana. Faithless Looting. Alright, so paying for Root Walla isn't going to change anything. We are at the mercy of the top of their deck, basically. See what we draw into. We hit a Putrid Imp. Yeah, we just cast this. Play out another Putrid Imp and hope that we can fade whatever's on the top of their deck at the moment. Because it would basically have to be... Their 2 cards would have to be a way to get Ensnaring Bridge... Because they could play Karn, that'll untap everything, get Ensnaring Bridge, play Ensnaring Bridge, or it would have to be Ring and a way to untap Ring. So the next 2 cards are all that matters. Like, if they have any of that combo of cards, I think I'm screwed. Alright. I mean, it comes down to what is the card in their hand and what do they draw? Like that's all this comes down to. I'm F6 through the turn. You can do whatever, buddy. Are any of those 2 cards Karn and or a way to win? They had the Karn. Shit. Alright. Now they can go get the One Ring and... Well, we'll see. They could get the One Ring, and they gotta hope that they have something they can cast off of those 2 cards. The chances of it are extremely high. Or they just grab an Ensnaring Bridge and I lose on the spot. Like, that's another possibility as well. We'll see what they grab. I would love for them to fuck up and grab a Mycosynth Lattice thinking that they can lock me out of the game here. Nope, they got the Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, so they're just going to turtle up. I don't know what the last card in their hand is. Oh, it's just another land? Okay. So basically, I need to find. And I can't swing in, so I need to find a way. I mean, I can cast this. I need to find one of. That's an Ancient Grudge. That should be game. Chuck Grudge, Chuck Rootwalla. Cast the Rootwalla, blow up your bridge with the Grudge and win. Oh, I can't. Fuck. Oh, I literally have no way out now. Shit, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I got no way to win. I forgot I can't cast this out of the graveyard because I can't actually activate whatchamacallit. And now they can go get whatchamacallit here. Okay, I guess I got one more turn to try to actually find a Faithless Looting, or to find another Grudge. I'm an idiot. Or I need to hit a green source to be able to actually cast it. So, like, I gotta hope that they fizzle on whatever these draws end up being. Because they're probably gonna go ahead and go grab the One Ring now. Either that, or now they go get Mycosynth Lattice and I lose. Oh, they just have the One Ring. Yeah, they got it. Okay. Yeah, they got it. I fucked up. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. I didn't have a green source, and I wasn't gonna have the time to be able to cast it anyways, but that was super close. That was actually super, super close. Good game, fun. Good game. Alright, finally lost the die roll. We're going to keep this. This has a lot of potential. We're on the draw, so we get to draw a card. We get to use Once Upon a Time to try to find a good discard outlet. Worst case scenario, we just Burning Inquiry. Assuming we don't get Chalice on one here. What red Stompy deck are they on? Don't know. We'll see if there's anyone playing Goblins after the Mind Goblin ban. On the plus side, we did not get whatchamacallit. Chalice here. A Putrid Imp would be the absolute best draw. Faithless Looting's not bad. See if we can find a Putrid Imp off this. We find a hollow one. So what can we do here? We can hope that we get to keep both of our hollow ones and try to Burning Inquiry and see what happens. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spin it to win it here. Let's see what happens. Watch, both the hollow ones are gone. No. Oh, that was amazing. And we got rid of 2 fucking Fables. Yeah, that was actually phenomenal. We got to keep both hollow ones and get the Blazing Rootwalla for free. That was a hell of a gamble. Unfortunately, we don't have a Vengevine in the graveyard, but I don't hate 9 power on turn 1. Like, I don't hate that at all. Our opponent can also do some very powerful things if they're just standard mono-red Stompy. But there are still some very disgusting lines that can come out of our opponent on whatever the hell they have in their hand now. But hopefully they were banking on those Fables doing something. And now we're almost to the point where, like, we don't even care if we get rid of this Anju's Ravager. We just have so much power on board. Like, what we can do is play Arid Mesa and then Burning Inquiry, and then we can still pump Blazing Rootwalla, or we can play it safe and Faithless Looting first and then Blazing Inquiry. Or they're going to Fury. So they're just mono-red Stompy. They're going to get rid of one of our hollow ones, I'm guessing. Yeah, luckily these things got a fat ass. So they basically just 2 for 1 to... Or 1 for 2, whatever you want to say. I got rid of 2 cards, so they got rid of 1 hollow one. Do they have a 3-drop to follow up? Alright, they put a Magus of the Moon under this. Okay, it's a Rabble Master. That's fine. I don't really care about that. Because I can just eat the token, and now they're in top deck mode. Like, I can easily eat that. Alright, let's see what we draw. A Faithless Looting. So I think we're going to go ahead and do the safer route here. Putrid Imp. So I think because we have a discard outlet here, we're going to get rid of Faithless Looting and Burning Inquiry. Let's cycle this bad boy into a Badlands. Okay, we can play the Badlands, play Putrid Imp, and then what? I sit back, we see what they do. I can take 3, that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm the beatdown right now, so we're gonna go in like this. I can block the 1/1 token with Putrid Imp, that's not a problem. Hopefully they're just drawing lands and Chrome Moxes from here on out, and not drawing any kind of gas. Like, I'll take 3. Okay, they're just gonna hold back. They're not willing to... Wow, really? They're getting in with the Rabble Master. Okay. I mean, I'll take the 3. That's fine. Oh, it can't block. I'm an idiot. Do I care about this? No. I'll take the 4 then. We're basically just trading schwacks for 4 back and forth, which is fine. Alright. So they didn't have a follow-up, which makes me think maybe it's a Fury. Ooh, yeah, baby. That is exactly what I want to see. Get in right away with this bad boy. Hell yeah. I'm going to hold the Root Walla back here so that I can block this Goblin Rabblemaster with it. Depending on what I hit off of this Ravager draw. I suppose they could have a Dead Gone also. Because they keep pausing like they want to do something here. So they might have a Dead Gone. Alright, let's get in. Just a nice little casual draw 3. Another Ravager and a Lion's Eye Diamond. I don't hate that. And we got a Street Wraith, but I think I'm going to hold on to that. I think my life total is more important than that Street Wraith at the moment. Let's play out this. And then we're going to pass the turn. Like I said, I will snap block with this Root Wall to kill the Rabblemaster in a heartbeat. A Fury doesn't get them out of this because they can theoretically get rid of 2 creatures, but then they still just die on the crackback. They also don't know about this Anji's Ravager that's going to be coming at instant speed either. So I don't think there's any 2 cards that get them out of this unless they have main deck and Snaring Bridge somehow. Alright, they're swinging in. And they scoop it up after going to combat. Okay. Whatever works. Wow, the client is being laggy today. Alright, there we go. Let's see here. I think we kind of just do the same thing again. Like, Firestorms to get rid of their 3-drop goblins and Ancient Grudge. I think Pox Walkers are going to be kind of slow here, so we can probably take those out. And let's just do our little kind of trimmy shit here. Our life total is kind of relevant. I think we'll trim a Street Wraith instead of another Anger, because I think getting in with Anger with haste is actually going to be huge in this matchup, because we want speed on our side before they can get too many lock pieces down. So let's try something like that. Yeah, we keep this. This is a good hand, assuming we don't get Chalice on one. But even if we do, we have the Ancient Grudge to be able to try to kill it. We will keep as well, opponents. We will keep as well. If they Blood Moon us, that does suck a little bit. Because we do need to find black mana. Okay, it's a Rabblemaster. We can deal with that. I'm not particularly concerned about that at all. We might just, like, destroy our whole hand to get rid of this Chrome Mox and see what happens and hope that we can pinch them on mana. Especially with a Blazing Root Walla, we might actually just go ahead and do that. Grab Badlands. Play that. Then let's start discarding cards, I guess. Cast this. I'm just debating if I want to pitch this Ancient Grudge yet. I think I do. Now I can cast the Hollow one for free. And since we got nothing else going on anyways, nah, we'll wait. I was thinking about maybe Ancient Grudging their Chrome Mox just to get rid of it, but we'll pass the turn and see what goes on here. We'll see if that was a mistake, if that turns out to be their only red source, but they have so many mana sources, I don't think it would be. And they scooped it up. They didn't want to deal with it. All right, cool. Taking out mono red pretties and pretty convincingly. Cool. On to the next one. All right, final round. Won the die roll. Let's fucking go. I mean, this gives me a hasty Putrid Imp, but nothing to really follow it up, unfortunately. It does have our engine online so that we can do stuff, but we have no way to really draw cards or anything, so I think I gotta ship this one back. I think we're gonna keep this one. This gives me a draw spell, multiple draw spells actually, an engine. Let's put the redundant Putrid Imp to the bottom. Okay, let's start out by cycling the Street Race, see what we hit. See if we hit anything good here. Hit a land. I think we're going to start off with the Faithless Looting. Let's go grab a unwastelandable land. Since we've already got what we need here, let's see where this gets us. Alright, so this gives me things to work with. It's just, do I want to get rid of the green source or do I want to get rid of the Street Wraith? We're chucking the Pox Walker for sure. And you know what? Let's actually chuck the Root Walla, because this is going to get us the Pox Walkers back. So we're going to start off like this. Chuck the Root Walla. This gets us the Pox Walkers. And then, you know what? We're going all the way. Let's cycle this thing. Anger. Okay. So, I mean, not great, but depending on what we draw here, we can get Putrid Imp down, chuck Anger into the graveyard. Alright, opponent is on Delver. Got it. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. It's a good thing we got a non-wastelandable land here. However, they might be willing to chump block with this, Blazing Root Walla. What does that get us here? That gets me a few more attacks in. I think we're going to go ahead and do this. If this gets a Force of Will, that's actually kind of funny. It does get a Force of Will. Okay. Force of Will pitching a Brainstorm. They put it back on top. Okay. Let's see what they're willing to trade off here. I'm curious what's on the top of their library that they want so bad. Are they willing to trade this? No, they're not willing to trade the Dragon Race Channeler for a Pox Walker. Okay. Next turn, there is a world where if they don't wasteland us, we can Faithless Looting, chuck this Root Walla and the Anger. Alright, opponent's Brainstorming. Maybe that's what was on top. They been to land that time, so they're not landlocked. We did do a lot of damage to ourselves here, but we have a faster clock than they do at the moment. I'm a little concerned about them turboing out a Murktide Regent, though. We just have to hope that we can go wider. Okay, it's Temur. Okay, I'm guessing this means they're trying to turbo out a Murktide Regent, because they're just trying to fill their graveyard as quickly as possible. Chose not to shuffle. That's mildly concerning. Nope, you gotta attack, buddy. The question is do I think they have a Daze? Because if I think they have a Daze or anything else to stop this Faithless Looting, we're kind of in trouble. We might be better off going for just Root Walla here. But I think we're just going to go for it. If this gets another counter out of their hand, that's fine. Gets another Force of Will. Pitching a Brazen Borrower. Okay. If they're last, okay, they liked whatever that was. Alright, well, we're still winning this race at the moment. So we'll see what they can do here. Like I said, a Murktide is problematic, but not the end of the world. I also have the mana to be able to play Root Walla, pump the other Root Walla. I still got the mana for that. That's fine. What is your last card? Okay, it's not a Murktide Regent. That's very good. Like I said, I've still got the mana to be able to do everything. To be able to play a Root Walla and pump a Root Walla. We get another Pox Walkers. Okay. I guess we're going to see if they got a Stifle somehow. Nope, no Stifle. Let's get in. A Bolt is annoying, but not the end of the world. Alright, that resolved. Alright, they've got 3 lethal threats to deal with and 1 card in hand. Like, if they Bolt, find another Bolt, we die. Okay, it's Seek the Beast. Bend it, so they're banking on the top of their library here. What'd they hit? 2 lands, okay. So with 2 lands, they would need to... No, they can't do anything. They're just dead here. I've got 3 lethal threats on board, and they could only produce 2 blockers. Yeah, they're dead. They can't win. They can block 2 things, take 3, and die. Alright. We took game 1 from Delver. That is kind of ridiculous. Alright. Feels really good to be able to take game 1 from Delver. Don't need to do anything fancy. Just got to swing out. Alright, and they see that they're dead. Okay, I think they didn't see the math at first, but then they went to our turn. Because I got the mana to pump this up to a 3-3 and this up to a 3-1. So any one of these 3 power creatures gets through. Okay, cool. We took game 1. Feels really good to take game 1 from a Delver deck. That being said, let's bring in... I feel like we're going to be bringing in a ton of stuff for this matchup. Because Murktide's the single biggest threat in the deck at the moment. As much as I hate it, our life total matters too much. I have to take the Street Race out. I want to keep all my creatures because I need to go fast. I think I gotta bin the Once Upon a Times. Maybe 3 Ancient Grudges is a bit much. Let's go down to 2. Trim a Burning. Let's just do 3 ley lines. I don't know. I always feel weird bringing in 4 ley lines. I know this is a shitload that we're bringing in here, but I feel like this is what we need. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, I like this hand. We are going to keep the shit out of this. The best thing possible right now would be just an LED off at the top. I have a feeling our first card is probably going to end up getting Forester Daze, so I think I might lead off with the Burning Inquiry unless we... Well, we have multiple Burning Inquiries, so yeah, I think our first card is probably getting Dazed. So we're going to try to do this. Okay, yep, got a Daze out of their hand. That's exactly what I wanted. Because what I actually want to resolve is the Putrid Imp. They kept whatever it was on top. Okay, so it's going to have to be a Force now. This is kind of playing out exactly how I wanted it to. I had a feeling the Taiga was going to get Wastelanded, which is fine. Again, an LED off the top would still be the absolute best thing here. Back a Putrid Imp, okay. Alright, so we're getting some stuff onto the battlefield here. We have a faster clock than they do at the moment. We have a Burning Inquiry to follow this up in theory. We have another Putrid Imp if they decide to go after the Imp. If they don't and we hit a land, we can try to Ravager. A Wasteland is mildly annoying. But again, like an LED is probably the best thing we can get off the top here. Okay. Unholy Heat. Okay, they're targeting the one that we have a replacement for, which I'm fine with. I'm assuming he's going to hang back on D here. Yep. Like I said, a land wouldn't be terrible either. Vengevine's interesting. Well, let's get in, see what happens. Are they taking a block? No, okay. Alright, well, they didn't have a counter last time, so let's see if we can drop another Putrid Imp. Alright, it sticks. So we can get this Vengevine in the yard for sure now. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, so they get double Surveils now. Lightning Bolt targeting the Imp. They bend to Volcanic. Bend to Hedge Maze. We're going to chuck a Vengevine in the yard. We're still worried about a Murktide Regent. Like I said, LED is still the best thing we can possibly get off the top here. Blazing Root Wall is pretty good, though. Let's see where this goes. See if they got another counterspell. No. Alright, so we get... Oh, sweet. This is awesome. Do we get an Anger in the yard? No, but we got an Ancient Grudge. But this gets a Root Walla down onto the battlefield. And this gets a free Hollow one down. And this gets Vengevine back. I like where we are at. We are now wide enough to probably be able to get around a Murktide Regent. They are only one land type away from being able to get these Dragon Rage Channelers up to 3/3s, though. But they're staring down lethal next turn. So they're going to need a hell of a set of draws here to be able to get out of this, I think. Like, a single Murktide Regent doesn't do it, I don't think. It would need to be Surveil, Bolt... Well, even then, they'd actually have to hold these back, so they can't afford to Surveil those into 3/3s. Because if they Surveil those into 3/3s, they have to attack. They've got one blocker left as a Murktide Regent. I think they would need some kind of sweeper here. Or they just play a Seek the Beast. Okay. Or not Seek the Beast, Questing Druid. So they're just going back on blocking duty here. So I'm wondering what their last card is. It's something they can cast. So it's either a... Okay, that's interesting. Well, we'll go in, attack, see what they do. So their last card's a removal spell, that's for sure. We will see how they choose to block. Because depending on what they do here, we can pump the Root Walla. Alright, this screams that their last card is a Bolt. It just comes down to, do I want to risk... Because this is probably going to live. These both probably die. We will see what they do here if they fire off this bolt before damage. Yep, Lightning Bolt on the Vengevine, that's fine. Their board is probably going to get wiped here. They've been to Scalding Tarn, so yeah, their whole board is wiped other than their Questing Druid, which is fine. Surgical Extraction, interesting, okay. Ooh, the new art is surgical too. Okay, that's fine. Pretty much their whole board dies. They go to 2. Most of my board dies, but that's fine. They're in top deck mode. I play a Putrid Imp, and they now have 2 more lethal threats they have to deal with. It needs to be like exactly Murktide Regent off the top, I think. Or some way to find a Murktide Regent. Because I can give this flying to get over the Questing Druid. Or they need another removal spell for Putrid Imp. And we got there. We took down Delver. All right. Nice little positive record with Madness here. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Alright, so what can we say about that one this week? So it honestly kind of went better than I thought it would. I was expecting the format to be much more hostile toward what I was doing, considering how much this deck relies on drawing and discarding cards. We were fortunate enough to not hit Bowmasters at all during this league. I feel like Bowmasters in particular could just wreck this deck. A lot of your creatures are X1s. You're drawing a ton of cards. They're going to outscale you pretty quickly. You saw a couple of times where it's like, you really, really got to go wide because if your opponent can get one big creature on the battlefield, it kind of just stonewalls everything you're doing. So I feel like Bowmasters is probably a huge detriment to this deck, and it just lucked out not really running into it or anything. Also saw what has historically been my experience with control with this deck is the white-based removal is just so good against what we're trying to do here because our creatures all rely on basically being recursive. So being able to exile them and get rid of them permanently really puts a damper on your game plan. And you saw, you get them super close to being able to get them dead, and then they just stabilize and they're able to pick off every creature with white-based removal to get rid of it forever. And you kind of just fizzle out until they're able to take control of the game and find some way to win from there. But the deck was a ton of fun. My impression on Pox Walkers, it definitely felt like bad Vengevine. It was cool having another 3-power creature be able to come back for free, but the fact that it comes back tapped so that you can't take advantage of the haste from Vengevine or you can't take advantage of giving it haste from Anger definitely hurt. But it definitely helps as far as increasing your free threat density in the deck, and I think it is a boon to the deck overall. I mean, it was a ton of fun to play. It definitely still feels very fringe, but you can definitely jank people out with it. It was a ton of fun. If you like just going wide, going hyper aggro, just getting hellbent and shitting your whole hand onto the battlefield as quickly as possible, this deck is definitely right up your alley. So if that sounds good to you, I say give it a shot. It's clearly competitive. It's got some really cool synergies. It can be super, super fast. So a couple of virtual turn one wins where opponent was just like, I can't deal with what you put on the battlefield on turn one. And some absolutely just nutty gameplay that can come out of this deck. So if you like it, give it a shot. It was a ton of fun, and it's still competitive. I definitely take this to an F&M. Anyways, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit that sub and that like button low. I will catch you all in the next one, and as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.